Hi and welcome to Lookers Ford here in Leeds. I am Sian Gabbidon and you join me at what is a very exciting time as we introduce you to Ford's first ever fully electric commercial vehicle, the all-new e-Transit.
Transit is the best-selling cargo van in the world and has been the mainstay of millions of commercial vehicle customers and their businesses since it was first launched back in 1965. And that was the year man first walked in space. And now, 57 years later, and e-Transit is hitting similar groundbreaking milestones, thanks to the latest in vehicle connectivity, EV technology, fast flexible charging options, and a raft of exciting innovation from the designers and engineers at Ford. Transit is a vehicle that has touched most of our lives, from house moves to moving people, to being a mobile office or workstation, to being the facilitator of the fast and efficient deliveries that we all now rely on. Put simply, Transit is the vehicle to get the job done.
Now, I am not on my own today here at Lookers Ford. I have Josh, who is the business manager with me. Josh, welcome.
Thank you
for being here. This is quite a historic moment really for Transit. So how excited are you to introduce the e-Transit to your commercial vehicle customers?
Really excited. We have a long line of customers actually really excited to get themselves in this one and driving. So yeah, we're looking forward to it.
And have you driven it yet, Josh?
I have. I've driven it up to Morrison's this afternoon actually.
How does it drive?
Absolutely amazing. It's really quiet and really smooth.
Good, good, good. Okay, so tell us a little bit about the heritage here at Lookers Ford. So I know there's quite a lot of heritage in terms of commercial vehicles.
Yeah, so Lookers actually started in 1908.
Wow.
The first generation Transit was released in 1965. So for us to get to the e-Transit is quite a big deal.
It is.
Really
well,
is.
Thank you, Josh.
No,
thank you
you're
for
welcome.
being here. Don't forget, guys, we are live on Facebook, so if you have any questions at all about the e-Transit, send them in. The team here at Lookers Ford will be happy to answer those. Give us a like, give us a share. If there's any e-Transit or transit enthusiasts out there, let them know about it and get involved. So we spoke to Josh. We've seen a little bit of the vehicle. Let's learn a bit more about the key features of the new e-Transit. So we're going to start here at the unique front grille. Now the first thing you will notice are the really nice blue highlight design to the front grille. But what's even more amazing about this is it actually doubles up as a charging point as well. So if we just pop this little part here open, you can see that this is actually where you pop the charger for the vehicle. Now we're going to talk about charging in way more detail as we go on, but headline news is this is best in class with a 196-mile range. That's 3 times the daily average of commercial vehicle customers in Europe, which is amazing. In terms of actually charging, you have both fast and flexible options. If you were to charge this from a workplace, you'd be looking at a full charge in around about 8 hours. If you were out and about on the road and you could get to one of our DC fast charging points, you're looking at approximately 80% charge in as little as 34 minutes, which is pretty amazing. Now, as we walk round to the side of the vehicle, now what you will notice here, or what you actually won't notice really, is any difference at all. This is very much still a Transit. It comes in 25 different variants in terms of wheelbase and height, and because of the battery positioning underneath the load floor, the payload and load cube remain completely unchanged. And to show you just how little has actually changed, we took the e-Transit, we put it next to its much loved diesel counterpart, and we asked Nick Day to give you a show around.
As we've already been hearing, the all-new e-Transit is still very much the Transit we all know and love. And it's no surprise there's many similarities both internally and externally. So we thought it'd be a really good idea to just show you how familiar you're going to be with this e-Transit by comparing it side to side with one of its diesel counterparts, in particular the rear doors and the load area. Now here at the rear, you'll be hard pressed to play a game of Spot the Difference. The only external clue that this is an e-Transit is the unique badging. Let's open the doors and have a look and see what's going on inside. Internally, the load carrying capabilities that make the Transit such a workhorse remain largely unchanged. We have a load area of just over 15 metres cubed and a payload of 1,758 kilos for the van and more for the chassis cab, with tie-down points and our rack mounting capabilities that we're used to. If you already work with our qualified vehicle modifiers for your company's conversions, I'm almost certain there'll be no problem at all. Now, the clever part of the design is even with the battery sitting in the chassis here below the load floor, we could see a difference in load height between 3 and 5 centimetres. But parked next to the all-wheel drive diesel version, you can see they're almost identical. Hopefully you've seen now that the all-new e-Transit is still very much a Transit, now though with the addition of the exciting electric drivetrain. Let's head back to the dealership and learn about options for charging.
So there we have it. The e-Transit is very much still the transit workhorse we all know and love. It's simply now powered by a cleaner, more efficient option of a battery and a motor. So let's take a closer look at the EV tech that goes into the e-Transit. Let's look at the heart of the e-Transit and start with the battery. The e-Transit's 400-volt battery is positioned in a sealed structural box under the floor and has a usable capacity of 68 kilowatt hours, which equates in layman's terms to a best-in-class range of up to 196 miles. And as you can see here, the motor is positioned in the rear subframe and the ride is now improved with the help of independent coil spring rear suspension. And as we've already heard from Nick, with the battery sitting neatly underneath the floor, there's absolutely no loss of payload. And the e-Transit has been designed to be fast and flexible when it comes to charging, as mentioned. You're able to plan and control all of the charging options via the Ford Pass Pro app or Ford e-Telematics Fleet Solutions, which we will learn a little bit more about later on. Charging back at the depot with a commercial power supply should take around about 8 hours. And we have a number of charging solutions available to help with that. At home with a Ford wall box, it's also convenient and takes around 11 hours for a full charge. You can also actually use a standard 3-pin plug socket too and the mobile charge cable. This will take a little bit longer, however, to charge. And for top-ups on longer journeys, when you're out and about on the road, you can put up to 80% capacity back into the battery in as little as 34 minutes. This is when using the DC faster chargers that are part of the 16,000 outlet Blue Oval charging network, and access to that network is actually free for 12 months with every single e-Transit as part of the Ford e-Telematics. So charging is clearly both fast and flexible, but what about when you're out and about on the road? We asked Kev Harris to see if in the time it took him to have a quick break, to grab a coffee, he could charge his e-Transit and keep those wheels rolling.
So, as we've been hearing with the e-Transit and charging, you have a few options. But one thing that I've been learning over the last few years, since I've been learning about electric vehicles like the e-Transit, is that the place that you will most frequently recharge will be back at the depot in the evening or at home overnight. This means that you wake up each and every morning with a full charge ready to go again. And this is certainly the most cost-effective and easiest way to do so, putting the service station on your own doorstep. But what about if you're out and about away from home or perhaps on a longer journey? Where will you charge and how long will it take? Fast charging at an electric forecourt like this new GridServe facility here in Braintree, Essex is definitely the way to go when you want a quick turnaround, because they have reliable, super fast charging on site for up to 36 vehicles. Right, so the time is just coming up to 12:30. Let's see how many miles I can add to my range in the time it takes me to nip inside, grab a coffee, go to the loo and check a few work emails. Right, so there we go. I've been plugged in for 20 minutes and I've added 71 miles to my range, which is great because that's more than I need for the rest of the day to get all of my jobs done and to head back to the depot. And while this method of fast DC charging is not something that you want to rely on all the time, it certainly is a fast and convenient way to add some miles to your range. So let's head back to the dealership now then and learn about the rest of Ford Pro.
Now, sat in cab, you get an immediate sense of space and openness, and that is largely down to the fact that we've removed the physical gear stick and handbrake. Now, the removal of the physical gear brake and hand stick has been replaced with a rotary gear dial and an electronic parking brake, which you'll see on screen very shortly. Heated seats and heated windscreen come as standard with every single e-Transit, and you can actually precondition the temperature in the cabin as well whilst the vehicle is on charge. Now, to do that, you can use the Ford Pass Pro app, or you can use the 12-inch Sync 4 system. Let's talk about the 12-inch Sync 4 system in a bit more detail because you're going to love this. So the Sync 4 system sits at the front of the vehicle. It is the control centre basically for e-Transit, and it is by far the best sync system to date that Ford have developed. With a built-in modem, e-Transit is a fully connected electric vehicle that works completely seamlessly within the Ford Pro ecosystem, which is the innovation from Ford that puts all of your commercial vehicle needs into one place. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Ford Pro, don't panic. We sent Tori Campbell to the Commercial Vehicle Show to learn all about Ford Pro and how this technology has been input into this industry-leading system.
I'm at the CV show here in Birmingham where we're launching the Ford Pro brand. The story is all about the connectivity and technology on board, which is really at the heart of the e-Transit. And I think I've just spotted the ideal man to tell us some more.
No problem. Take care. See ya.
Andy, can I borrow you just for a moment?
Of course you can.
Thank you. You're the Fleet Ownership Experience Manager here at Ford. So what I wanted to know is, what do you and your team do with the data from connected vehicles?
At the heart of Ford Pro is e-Transit, and indeed the whole of the commercial vehicle family. They all have integrated modems, and they're able to push data from the vehicle up into the cloud. And that has one single ambition, is to maximise the amount of uptime of our customers and therefore their own productivity. The Ford Live Connected Uptime System uses the real-time data from the cloud in order to liaise between customer, dealer and Ford Motor Company. And therefore the idea is, by taking the VOR, the vehicle off-road information, we are able to understand what parts might be required, what diagnostic routines might be required, and hopefully get the right technician in place to absolutely minimise your downtime and get you back on the road.
So as Andy just said, connected vehicles allow us to do so much more in terms of maximising productivity. However, being here at the show, I've realised there is a lot more to Ford Pro. So I'm here with Mandy Dean, Ford of Britain's Commercial Vehicles Director. So Mandy, why Ford Pro and why now?
Well, around the world, tens of millions of Ford trucks and vans are at work every day, helping people to get their jobs done. And whilst their work may not make the headlines, they make our world run, and they are what Ford is all about. And those customers are going through huge and unprecedented change right now. Businesses and organisations of all sizes see the promise of electric and digital vehicles, but they know it's going to be a complicated shift and they're worried about it. They want to work with a single trusted partner, not cobble together a bunch of different services to help them get this transition right. And that's exactly why we've created Ford Pro.
So here at the show and in your advertising, I've seen that Ford Pro is all about productivity. But what does that actually mean for your customers?
Well, our mission is to provide a seamless end-to-end solution for best-in-class vehicles, charging, software, service and financing, all from a single trusted partner. And we want to help those customers make their transition to an electrified future really simple and completely worry-free. But Ford Pro really comes into its own when it translates the data that Andy was talking about into the things that really matter for our customers, like improved uptime, reduced running costs, smarter charging and simpler administration. It basically brings together the 5 key pillars of commercial productivity solutions, so the vehicles, services, software, charging solutions and financing, all that just simply work better together.
Well, there you have it, Ford Pro and the all-new e-Transit. Now, I hope that we've managed to cover off most of the questions you may have had about the vehicle, but do keep sending them in. The team here at Lookers Ford will be happy to answer those questions. Book in for a test drive, come and see it in person, because I promise you, you will not be disappointed. Thank you very much for listening and for learning all about the new e-Transit. Key takeaways are this is still every bit a transit. It is now simply an electric commercial vehicle workhorse for the 21st century and beyond. Thank you very much, and I'll see you later.